The United States government just made one of the biggest geopolitical AI moves in years, and almost nobody noticed. Anthropic announced that the Trump administration has lifted export controls on two of its most powerful models, Claude Fable 5 and Mythos 5. We are talking about restrictions that have shaped the entire global AI market for 18 months. And now they are gone just like that. Here's why this matters. For nearly 2 years, the United States government kept Anthropic's cutting-edge models locked behind export restrictions as part of a broader AI arms race with China. The strategy was simple: keep America's best AI technology domestic, maintain technological dominance, prevent adversaries from accessing top-tier tools. But that calculus just changed completely. Anthropic and the administration reached an agreement. Fable 5 and Mythos 5 are now available globally. With some conditions, this is a massive pivot. It signals the Trump administration sees more benefit in spreading American AI technology worldwide than keeping it domestic. For developers, startups, and countries waiting outside this wall, it's suddenly open season. The models that were once restricted are now available for international use. And here's what most coverage gets wrong: this isn't just a tech story. It's a statement about how the United States wants to compete in the AI era. It's choosing market dominance over pure isolation, and the effects are only beginning. So why were these export controls in place to begin with? Think of it like this. Imagine a toolbox full of your sharpest tools. You don't just leave it on the street where anyone can grab it. You keep it locked up at home. That's been America's strategy with advanced AI models for about 2 years. The context is the great power competition with China. Both countries are racing to develop the most capable artificial intelligence systems because AI is becoming as strategically important as nuclear weapons or semiconductors were in the 20th century. The United States government looked at Anthropic's most powerful models and said, if these reach China's AI labs, that changes the balance of technological power globally. Export controls became the lever. The idea was straightforward: restrict where Anthropic could sell its top-tier models, make sure they stay in allied countries, prevent sophisticated AI capabilities from flowing to strategic competitors. The United States applied this same playbook to microchip equipment, quantum computing hardware, and advanced semiconductors. It's a Cold War strategy adapted for artificial intelligence. But here's where it gets complicated. These controls came with a hidden cost. They locked out allied countries from the best American AI tools. They made United States companies less competitive because they couldn't sell to huge markets like the European Union, India, or Southeast Asia. Developers worldwide were waiting for access to Fable and Mythos. Over 18 months, the restrictions became as much a constraint on American economic dominance as a security tool. And that tension finally got resolved today. Alright, so what exactly are Fable 5 and Mythos 5? These aren't just slightly improved versions of older Claude models. They represent a leap in capability that makes a real difference in what you can actually build. Claude Fable 5 is the mid-tier powerhouse. It's faster than earlier versions, more efficient, and handles complex reasoning tasks that would have required GPT-4 Turbo just a year ago. Think of it as the model you'd use to build customer service bots that understand context, legal document analysis systems that catch edge cases, or research assistants that synthesize information from hundreds of sources. It's powerful enough to handle production workloads at scale. Then there's Mythos 5, the heavyweight. This is the model you use when you need the absolute best reasoning, the most nuanced understanding of language, the most reliable outputs. It's the one for cutting-edge research, sophisticated code generation, complex multi-step problem solving. It's slower and more expensive than Fable, but when you need perfection, it's the one you reach for. What makes both models special is that they were trained with Anthropic's constitutional AI approach, a method that makes models more honest, more helpful, and less prone to generating harmful content. That's been a major selling point for Anthropic in the market. Governments, enterprises, and careful developers trust Claude because it's designed from the ground up to be reliable and safe. And now that trustworthiness is available globally. So what actually becomes possible now that these models are available worldwide? Here's a concrete picture. In Europe, a startup that's been waiting for Fable 5 access can now build a French-language legal research platform, powerful enough that it could genuinely help small law firms work faster. In India, a team can create an AI tutor that understands complex mathematical concepts and explains them in Hindi with local cultural context. In the Middle East, enterprises can deploy Mythos 5 for financial analysis and regulatory compliance without waiting for United States approval. This is genuinely game-changing for non-United States markets. There's been a gap between what's available domestically and what international markets could access, and now that gap closes. Think about academic research too. Researchers at universities in Singapore, Canada, and Germany were blocked from using Anthropic's best models. Now they can incorporate them into research projects, medical diagnosis systems, scientific discovery platforms. For Anthropic itself, this is massive. Export restrictions cost them billions in potential revenue. They couldn't sell into huge markets. Their competitors at OpenAI faced similar restrictions, but being able to expand into the European Union, Asia-Pacific, and other regions suddenly doubles or triples addressable market opportunity. And here's what that means practically. If you're a developer outside the United States, you're probably already thinking about what you could build. More computational capacity gets unlocked for international teams. More innovation happens outside America. More competition for OpenAI, Google, and other United States-based AI companies. The geopolitical calculus was straightforward. Losing market share is worse than the security risk. Now, the United States didn't just wake up one morning and decide to lift all export controls everywhere. This is a carefully calibrated move. Other countries have their own AI regulations, and those matter here. The European Union has been moving toward its own AI regulation framework, strict rules about when you can use AI, how you handle bias, transparency requirements. So when Fable and Mythos become available in Europe, they're not available with zero restrictions. They have to comply with the European Union regulations. That's actually good for Anthropic because the European Union market is massive and wealthy. Compare that to China, which has its own homegrown large language models and its own export restrictions in reverse. China doesn't let its best models leave the country either. The difference is China's restriction is about keeping capability domestic. The United States was using restrictions as geopolitical leverage. India and Southeast Asia were caught in the middle. They have massive markets, massive developer talent, but they couldn't access cutting-edge United States AI. So the United States' decision here is partially recognizing that denying markets access to your tech doesn't stop them from building their own. It just stops them from using yours. The United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, traditional United States allies, they had workarounds but not full access. Now they do. So this is the United States essentially saying, we are going to compete by being better, not by building walls. It's a bet that American innovation stays ahead even when the competition has the same tools. And here's where things really get interesting. What are the real implications of this move? It reshapes the entire global AI market structure in three major ways. First, this validates that Anthropic matters as a strategic asset. When the government negotiates export controls on your product, you're officially critical infrastructure. This lifts Anthropic's profile globally. Enterprises and governments that were waiting now see Fable and Mythos as credible alternatives. Anthropic becomes a genuine competitor to OpenAI in every market. Second, it accelerates the commodification of high-end AI. When the world's best models are available globally, companies can build on them. That's healthy competition. OpenAI still has GPT-4, but now it faces real alternatives everywhere. Innovation speeds up. Prices come down. Developers have genuine choices. Third, and this is the biggest one, it signals how America plans to maintain AI dominance. Instead of restricting access, the strategy is now, be the best, move fast, stay innovative, win through quality. That's actually harder than just saying no to other countries. It requires sustained investment, continuous improvement, and real competitive advantage. That's the opposite of zero-sum thinking. But here's the thing most people overlook entirely. This actually helps smaller countries. If you're in a nation without resources to build GPT-4 class models from scratch, you can now use Fable or Mythos as your foundation. You can build on American innovation. That's actually soft power. The United States maintains influence by being so far ahead that everyone wants to use its tools. So if you're a developer, what does this actually mean for you? Here's the practical reality. If you're building in the United States, you probably already had access to Fable 5 and Mythos 5. Nothing changes for you, you can already build whatever you want. If you're in Europe, India, Southeast Asia, or most other places, this is your permission slip. You can now legally and officially use these models in production at scale. The access process is straightforward. You go to Anthropic's website, you sign up for API access, you provision credentials, and you start building. Fable is your go-to for most applications. It's fast enough for real-time use cases, intelligent enough for complex reasoning, and cost-effective at scale. If you need the absolute best performance, you're building research tools, financial analysis systems, or anything where mistakes are really expensive, you reach for Mythos. The pricing is pay-as-you-go based on tokens, which is how all large language model APIs work. You get billed for input tokens, what you send to the model, and output tokens, what it generates. Both Fable and Mythos are cheaper than they were 2 years ago because competition exists now. What you're also getting is Anthropic's commitment to safe AI. The models are tuned to refuse genuinely harmful requests, to be honest when they don't know something, to give you output you can actually trust. That matters. In production systems, hallucinations cost money, biased outputs create liability. Reliability is worth paying for. So here's the bottom line. The Trump administration just signaled that the era of pure export control dominance in AI is shifting. They're betting that openness and innovation beat restriction and isolation. For the global AI market, this is seismic. Developers worldwide suddenly have access to the tools they've been waiting for. Anthropic gains a path to becoming a truly global player, not just a United States company. The competitive pressure on open AI intensifies. They've got to keep innovating or lose market share to Fable and Mythos. But here's what you should actually be thinking about. This is about the future shape of global technology power. When America decides that sharing its best tools is better than hoarding them, it's making a statement about confidence. It's saying, we'll win because we are better, not because we are more closed off. Watch 3 things over the next 6 months. First, watch Anthropic's international market share. If they can actually capture developers outside the United States, this move will look brilliant. Second, watch what China does in response. Will they also open their best models to the world, or will they double down on domestic-only restrictions? Third, watch if other governments try to block Fable and Mythos on their soil. The geopolitical AI race just got a lot more interesting. And for anyone building with AI globally, you're suddenly playing in a much bigger game. Follow for daily AI news updates, and we'll stay on top of how this unfolds.